According to the United Nations Refugee Agency, the number of people who have fled Ukraine since the start of the Russian invasion last month now stands at a little over 4 million. The total has surpassed the UN's original worst-case scenario estimates. In response to the crisis, the Biden administration has announced the U.S. will accept 100,000 refugees from Ukraine and will provide an additional $1 billion in humanitarian aid. Relief organizations from across the globe are now assisting refugees, including Save Our Allies, a group that not only helps with relief efforts, but has also been carrying out rescue operations inside Ukraine itself. Joining me now is the co-founder of that group, Chad Robichaux. Chad, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me on.
Your organization, Chad, has been on the ground since early February in Ukraine. Can you just tell us, what is that battlefield space like? What are you seeing? What's been going on?
Well, I mean, there's major cities that are being attacked, not just militarily, but the civilian populations as well. I'm not seeing it as much on the news as it should be, considering what we're seeing on the ground. Residential areas in some cities are knocked down as much as 80% of the cities, and doesn't appear to be indiscriminate fire. It appears to be actually direct attacks on civilians populations. Just recently, I was able to be part of the evacuation of 47 disabled children that came from a group of about 150 disabled children that was in a marked shelter, a marked shelter for medical people, which was these disabled children. 100 of them were killed, 47 survived, and we were able to get them out. So we're seeing just horrific attacks by a world superpower on a first world nation, a sovereign nation, and it's horrific. And the world governments are not coming to help, but what we've seen is the incredible culmination of all these NGOs from all over the world come together to do the right thing and help the Ukrainian people through evacuations, through pushing medical aid forward. We're also participating in getting communications infrastructure available as the cellular and electrical go down, so we can continue to communicate, to have sustained evacuation and support efforts through organizations like ours to Save Our Allies.
So Save Our Allies was involved in the rescue of Fox News correspondent Benjamin Hall after he and his colleagues were attacked by Russian forces earlier this month. First of all, can you tell us what happened there in that attack, and how were you able to get Benjamin Hall to safety?
Yeah, well, we were actually all in our operations center preparing for another operation when the call came in, and all we knew at the time was that 5 Fox employees were in Kiev in an active battle. This particular day was a day that the Russians were trying to take Kiev, and so we got the call, and within 20 minutes, we were out the door. And we broke up into 2 teams, and in each team we had myself and a special operations veteran, and then in another vehicle we had 2 special operations, very skilled precision recovery experts. And then in both vehicles, we had surgeons with us, trauma surgeons. So that was our team we went out with. As we were heading there, we learned that Benjamin Hall was still alive and probably had 48 hours or so to live because of some catastrophic injuries. Both Sasha and Pierre were dead. Their 2 drivers were dead, and then the 2 other Fox employees were in hiding and safe. And so we pressed forward and ended up getting there able to get Benjamin Hall out. We chose to leave the other 2 Fox employees behind to go get them later because they were safe, and then come back for Pierre's body. But the most important thing was to get Benjamin Hall safe, get him the medical care he needed, and we coordinated with the United States military, Polish special operations, and Ukrainian special operations. Once we got him to the border of Poland, the Polish special operations were able to get us across, and then to get him on U.S. military aircraft, because the U.S. military couldn't come into Ukraine. So we got him on U.S. military aircraft. The 82nd Airborne flew him to an airfield, and a C-130 flew him to Landstuhl, Germany, where he underwent some massive surgeries, was stabilized, and able to fly back to the United States, where he's home now in the United States and in Texas, getting the care that he needs. He needs a significant amount of care, but he is going to make it. And then 2 days later,
as you're telling me this, Chad, was that Fox News team, were they hit with small arms fire from Russian soldiers, or was it indirect fire, artillery round or a missile?
It was indirect fire. The Fox employee Sasha was in a vehicle with two drivers, and that indirect fire hit that vehicle and destroyed the vehicle. And unfortunately, everyone in the vehicle was killed. Benjamin Hall and Pierre were just away from the vehicle shooting a report, and that's where Pierre was killed, and Benjamin was injured by that blast. And we actually went back 2 days after getting Benjamin out. We went back 2 days later, and I actually personally drove the vehicle and escorted Pierre's body out. We wanted to give him in a dignified way, get him out of the country, and bring him to his wife. And we delivered him to his wife, Michelle, in Poland.
Well, God bless what you guys are doing out there. Such important work. You know, this war has been going on for over a month. The photos and videos coming out of Ukraine are grim. When you are interacting with refugees, I know you're also involved with trying to help refugees who have managed to get out of the country safely. Just how are they doing? I mean, what's their sense of what's going on? I mean, just try to give us a picture of what it's like dealing with these refugees and how are they handling all of this?
Well, I mean, most of the refugees you're seeing are either women, children, or elderly, because the men have to stay there and fight. I've seen men get to the border and they get turned around because they have to stay and fight, and anywhere from 18 to 60 years old. So many of the women are fleeing with their children, and then oftentimes they get in long lines. They are in a day where the fuel's low and they run out of fuel, so they end up having to walk. And it's very cold right now. I mean, right now it's probably 10 degrees outside and snowing. So you imagine being a wife or of your husband's going away, fighting. You don't know where he's at, and now you're moving your kids across a country in the snow, in the cold, through the middle of the night, walking to a border. Your cell phone battery probably dies, so they're very scared. And they finally make it to the border. Those that do, they finally make it to the border, and then they're like, "What's next? Where do I go? I know no one. I don't know where my husband's at. I don't have a phone." And they're just there at the mercy of whoever's there to help them. Fortunately, there's some amazing people from around the world that have come there to help. People are driving them to refugee centers. People are bringing jackets and clothes, warm food, and just people, amazing human beings helping other human beings. And it's been just such a great thing to see that. But nonetheless, it's still a major crisis. Poland is being just overwhelmed. There's so many people coming, and these refugee centers are it's very sad to go in. We went in just the other day and brought some goods, and we actually brought a bunch of flowers for the ladies, just to give them flowers and do something nice for them. And they're scared and they don't know what's next. And
how can people try to help from stateside, help your group?
Well, I mean, there's so many NGOs to help. Ours is one we're doing some critical rescues and moving some medical supplies forward. So SaveOurAllies.org is where you can donate. The most important thing that I think can be done for our organization right now is just keep us in prayer and donate financially. This is very expensive operations. We're committed to do our part to be here on the ground and getting the work done. So if anybody wants to contribute, the best way to do it is just make a donation at SaveOurAllies.org.
Don't miss American Scandal, Hunter Biden. A new First TV exclusive special hosted by Buck Sexton. Available right now only on the First TV app.